Today we're going to learn about building layout and how to square up your building so your foundation and everything up that will after that will be square. So this can be true for a 200-foot building to what we're going to do here is just like a small replica of a building. So this thing's going to be 45 inches by 66 inches. All right. Just random numbers, nothing special here. You could do this with any size building. So what we need to do is make sure that our corners are square. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now we don't need to do a bunch of math right now. All we got to do is use what we already know, that the 3, 4, 5, those three numbers, that method works in this instant. So when you measure out 3 feet this way, all right, that's our 3 at this point. Measure out 4 feet this way. If this is square, if we got this corner square, the hypotenuse right here should be 5 feet. Should be. So measure over 3 here, measure over 4 here. It should be 5 feet in the middle. If it's not, we have to adjust. And that's exactly what we're going to do here now. So we can just draw a random first line, no big deal. So just like on the job site, you set your first stake where you want your first corner. So I'm just going to set it randomly, just like this. If this was, a plot of ground, all right. So there could be trees, ponds, whatever. So like, I need it right here. I need the corner of that house, right there. All right. So what I do is set my first stake. All right. All right. That's my first stake right there. And then I can snap. All right. And then I draw, I can measure over to where I want my first line here. So where I want my border. So you can use this with any, all right, type of line. I'm just going to use my tape measure here and measure 45 inches out. Or no, I'll put my 66 inches this way. All right. And so, yep, I could put this first line wherever. You can strike it wherever. So I'm just going to strike it right here and put my first other stake right there. And so that's like, if you're building a house, that's where I want the front of my house to be. All right, at those 2 points. Now everything after that is going to be based off of this. So I'm going to snap the first line using a chalk line. Pull it out. It's easier if you have a helper. Where I want this right on it. Whoops. Line now. It is a lot easier with another person. All right. All right. So there's our first line. And then that's our first stake. All right. So now we're going to use kind of an arc method to get this done with our tape measure. So I'm going to use an Expo. I'm going to mark my arcs. So I know the 3, 4, 5 method. All right, so I'm going to use the 3 foot on this side because it's my shorter side. It's 45 inches. So what I'm going to do is create an arc of where 3 foot would be. So I just hook it on my nail and I go like this. All right. So it doesn't have to be a huge arc. All right, that's probably way bigger than what I need it, but it looks something like that. Then I'm going to do it down here. So that's my 3 foot side arc. And this is the 4 foot side arc. So there's 48 inches. All right. So there's my 2 arcs. So I can take it from either side. All right, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to take it from my, now I have to take it from this mark over here, and then I'm going to make an arc at 5 feet. So from here to here, that's how I'm going to get my where I know the location of where this is. So I'm just going to put another nail where that location is. So I know that this is an intersection point because that's our starting line. So that's where this intersects at 4 foot mark. All right. So from that point, so right here is the intersection point. So that's where the squareness is going to come from. So all I got to do is now snap another line. I'm just going to extend out through this intersection point. All right, so that's our first corner. And all I got to do is put a nail in where the next one is. So on this line, so let's say I think 45, get 45 on this. I'll just say I want 42, just because my sheet's a little small. So just on that line, like I extended it a little bit further. So I'll just put it on the line where 42 is. And so that's the start of my next corner. So you can check it again. So this is where 3 foot is. That's where 4 foot is. And so that is exactly where 5 foot is. And that means that this is a square corner. And so that just means that this corner right here is square. But now we have to square up the next one. So we got to start the whole process over again. I need to take 3 foot this way. Four foot this way. All right. And so this is the known line. So that's why we're going to take it from here. So I got to put another nail there. If you had someone spotting you, it does make this easier. So we're going to see where that 5 foot mark is. So you don't have to make a huge mark when you do the 5 foot mark, because you know where your other one is. So that's where your intersection point is, right there. All right, so I'm going to snap a line through that point. I can see over here where the other line is. So I'm just going to snap it through this intersection point and hold the string real tight. Then I just measure on this line to where my nail should be. Doing 66. All right, so if these two corners should be square, these two as well should be square, but we'll check them. So I already have these marked. All right, so now that we have it all connected and laid out, we're going to check our diagonals from each corner nail. And if the diagonals are equal, that means that this building would be square. So from this nail to this nail, we got 78 1/4. This is much easier when you have someone. Oh, we're right on. 78 1/4. Perfectly square. Can't get much better than that. This is, so from this nail, that nail, this nail. And all we had to do was make some arcs. And we got it. Now our building is square. Now we can do our foundation. We checked our diagonals and we're good to go.